Today I'm going to teach you what I learned when I was in the corporate world of a discipline and a routine, a daily routine that was not sustainable. And perhaps you're caught up in something similar where you eat, sleep, work, you go back and do it again, and you fall in bed exhausted at night. You get up in the next morning and you haven't slept very well and everything's going through your mind. That was my routine. And I burnt myself out by the time I was 36 years old from this rigid routine. So I'm Georgie Holbrook. I'm a holistic health educator, and I teach people how to come back into balance with nature. See, years ago, if you'd have asked me in the corporate world, Georgie, do you have peace within? That would have been foreign to me. I wouldn't even known what that felt like. But today I could teach you also how to find peace within. So how did I get this work addiction? At age 16, I held down 2 jobs and went to high school. I was on this fast-paced life so that I wouldn't feel what my past was like. Even at age 16, I was running from it. I thought it was behind me. If I just worked hard enough, I would finally get on with my life. Age 25, I'm a vice president for a company that I helped grow into 5 different states. I'm highly successful from the neck up, right? I've got the clothes, I've got the car, company car, I've got insurance, I've got money coming in, I got the new home, I got the husband. But inside, it's not working. It's not working because the faster I went, the emptier I got. But I didn't know that. I just felt, I guess the word for it today is numb. But I didn't know that. I didn't know what I was lacking. I just knew that the demands were to show up tomorrow morning and do it all over again. So there was not really much time for family or friends or having fun. Fun was like foreign word when you're working 12, 14 hours a day, because on the weekend, what goes through your head is still that same message about the work and what needs to be done. Even when I went on vacation, I'd call in to see how's things going, right? So from a young age, I was on this fast-paced life. But I want to ask you a question. Do you feel caught up in the life also and it's not sustainable, where every day you're in this routine and you don't know how to get off of it? Because that's what we do. We go so fast that I couldn't imagine a different life or a better life that I have today. I couldn't imagine it. But what happens is that we're like on a fancy train, a really fancy train that we own. And we're going so fast, but this train has no railroad tracks down at the end. Somehow our fast pace, we're going to crash. We are going to have health issues. We are going to have major traumatic events and unhappiness that we're just going to be attracted to because, see, this body was meant to be in harmony with nature and not burn itself out and not create health issues from our own lack of neglect. Say it again, health issues from our own lack of neglect and not understanding this body. So we were born with a purpose and passion as unique as our fingerprints. And we have, at least for me, I'll talk for myself. My purpose and passion got covered up with my daily routine that I didn't know how to get off of. But everything ended. I was brilliant in the corporate world, but everything ended in my corporate career at age 35, 36, when I was diagnosed with an incurable deforming disease that was all caused, friends, from stress and a burnout, just burned out. See, you can't live that way on this fast train and not have something happen that's deeper. So the wise spirit within me said, I will stop her. The disease happened to be on my face. At my 42 years old, I was losing my eyesight. But I self-healed all of it. And I dedicated my life to sharing with people like yourself. Don't go the way I went, right? Don't buy into that system, because the great divine that beats our heart will create a passion and purpose for us where money will flow in and we won't have to keep going out and working so hard in hopes of someday having fun. All right. So there I was, right? At 42 years old, I self-healed. By that time, I had lost a major part of my eyesight, but I self-healed. but it took me another 10 years to overcome the trauma from it. So trauma gets accumulated in our bodies, and talking about it is not going to budge it. So I dedicated my life to sharing with folks like you, and through my books and my story of teaching other people not to go the route that I did. Burnout and unhappiness and traumas, much of that can be prevented. So how we live is how we die, right? So for next, what I did is I started working in the holistic field because my corporate life was totally over. So once I healed, I wanted to dedicate my life to sharing and teaching. And I've taught for the last 30 years. I've been in all kinds of different situations, from hospitals, churches, universities, colleges. I teach at 2 colleges now. And what I want you to know is that you have gifts. You have gifts that you can create. And when you honor what brings you joy and your hobbies and your creativity, and let that come out and just be alive in you, where you wake up tomorrow morning and go, yes, I want to do it all over again, that part of you, cash will start flowing in. When you take care of this vessel, I call it the sacred vessel, then the universe will start supporting us. When I'm skimpy on myself and I take advantage of this body by treating it the way I had, right? Every day, like I was a machine or a robot, it wasn't working. And so I was going against nature rather than in harmony with nature. So you might want to take a pencil and paper and write down, so what is your beliefs right now? What are you caught up in? And I would love to mentor you, because this is what I love doing. This is my joy. Tomorrow morning, who can I help? And I want you to be the same way. Who can I help? So that we can learn together and live by example about being in harmony with nature rather than being opposite with nature. So what's my lifestyle like now that I love? I learned how to get quiet. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to pray and really believe in answered prayers. And I even have a book here. You'll see I dye on silk. So one of my hobbies is using French dye from France and dyeing on silk. I did that Sacred Heart, that you can actually feel the energy if you tune into it. I work with angels. Who would have thought back in the corporate world that I would have believed in anything other than Georgie, right? It was all about, this is what I am. I never asked for help. And now I ask the angels for help and they show up. So my prayer life, I'm real close to the ocean. So I go and I walk barefoot in the sand, and I notice the sky to the right and to the left, how big our Creator is. And why would I ever be skimpy on myself or mistreat myself with addictions or anything? You see, work addiction is an addiction that gets praised for. And I didn't know how to admit that I was out of balance, because I was wrapped up in this train, right? That was going really fast, and there was no time to breathe and say, ooh, I'm gonna crash. And I did. And thank goodness I did, because I wouldn't be alive today if I wouldn't have had my health stop me and say there's a better way to live, a better reality than what you're living. So what else do I try? So I have a prayer life. I meditate. I go to the beach. I go to the forest. I walk, and I admire the trees and the flowers and the butterflies and the hummingbirds, and just start noticing and looking at the clouds, right? They tell a story. But have I overlooked it most of my life? Right. And then I'm really fussy about who I hang out with. So I want to hang out with like-minded people that are going somewhere. You see, I teach at 2 colleges, and that's not just about me. It feels like it's about me. But anyway, I just want to serve. I want to share my story however I can share my story. And I'm dedicated to self-nurturing myself. So I get sesame seed massages on myself just to honor myself and bring my energy field back. So I teach all kinds of natural remedies now that I learned through my health issue, but also through self-nurturing now that I appreciate about myself. And I find peace within. So let's go back to the friends around you. Do they enhance your life? So when you're with them and you leave, you're just enhanced and you're inspired, and you want to set goals and hobbies and creativity. And then the other side, are you with people that make you feel moody and discouraged and low energy? So you'll feel it in your gut. You just leave them and you go, I was feeling good when we met, but right now, and then they're negative, right? So you're going to watch your own self-talk. When you're around them, do you buy in this ain't it awful story? Because that's so familiar in our world that we want to talk about all the bad things, but we want to be in gratitude. So here's my idea. So when you're with the next person, ask them, so what's new and good in your life? Rather than, hey, how are you? And then they go through this saga, right, about all their health issues or ain't it awful or whatever. So you start having control and boundaries around what you're going to leave into yourself here. This energy field that's very, very real, and that you can actually feel it and trust it. And your intuition is 100% right. So it wants to lead you and guide you. But we've been too covered up in our life that's not sustainable in this fast-paced life of electronics and concrete and blacktop and whatever's around us, right? So getting out on the earth. There's a documentary that's called earthing.com or something like that, but it's about getting your feet on Mother Earth and actually coming back into balance rather than the sadness, right? The sadness of ignoring ourselves and then having health issues when our soul says, I'm not happy. So there's a link below. Sign up for my newsletter. Thank you for being on this channel. And I have a YouTube out there that has 172,000 reviews. You might want to just check it out because a lot of people love it and help it spin even more. And I have many different YouTubes out there on different subjects. And I would love for you to comment about this video, what you learned, but also what you're interested in, because I'm interested in you. So sign up for my newsletter, and together we can make a difference in this world, and we can be on our own train at a slower pace with a happy ending and practice prevention, live our passion and not pain. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you.